Police spokesperson Corporal Ann Joseph has rubbished reports that officers attached to the ancillary police station tested positive for the novel coronavirus. The allegation was made in a WhatsApp voice note which has gone viral on social media platforms, sparking fears among the local population. Corporal Joseph explains that a detainee in custody at the installation took ill, prompting the activation of strict protocols which have become standard practice in the age of the COVID-19 pandemic.
As a consequence, and out of an abundance of caution, he was taken into a respiratory clinic where he was tested for COVID-19. His test results have since been made public to the necessary officials, and he is negative. That information was relayed to the officers at the ancillary police station. The Rslpf police force has become aware of a voice recording where a female is alleging that officers at the ancillary police station tested positive for COVID-19. That information is not only malicious, but very inaccurate. We have protocols established as it relates to any person taken ill at one of our police stations or departments. One of them is that everybody at the time, or everybody who may have had exposure to that individual, is taken either into a quarantine facility or into isolation depending on the individual's circumstances.
The press relations officer reveals that the law enforcement agency is also guided by public health officials who may deem testing necessary during quarantine. She insists policing operations at the installation and district were not imperiled.
The situation in ancillary resulted in several persons being tested. No police officer attached to that police station, including the inspector as is detailed by that individual in the voice recording, none of them have tested positive for COVID-19. It was out of an abundance of caution. A prisoner took ill. Everybody was sent into isolation. Those who could be sent home to isolate at home were sent at home. The station was temporarily shut down to facilitate sanitization works. It is necessary that as long as you suspect COVID-19 to be in an area, to undergo sanitization. That is all the station was shut down for. A set of officers who had not been exposed in any way to that individual, the prisoner, as well as the police officers who were on duty at the time, were brought in from various stations and departments to respond to any reports that may have come up during that time within the ancillary district.
There are guidelines, according to the police, for the handling of detainees. Corporal Joseph attested to the effectiveness of the protocols, which she asserts have served the police force well from the outset of the pandemic.
Public health officials who have done extensive research in that area came up with the protocols, and we've abided by them. I think it's necessary to remind persons that we were one of the first organizations impacted by a positive COVID-19 case. One officer tested positive in the early stages of the case, the disease reaching our shores. And no one else was impacted by that. Nobody tested positive around him because the protocols work. We have protocols in place, they work. Nobody was affected by that officer, and he tested positive, and he had been at the department where he was stationed. So we want to encourage persons to have confidence in our public servants, especially our health officials. There are situations where there is cause for concern, but there are protocols in place to mitigate any issues that may arise from someone taken ill.
Corporal Joseph disclosed that not only is the staff complement at the police station intact, but officers who were also tested for other possible ailments have been given a clean bill of health. The press relations officer who warns against disinformation says the police department at this moment does not contemplate legal action, but will continue to educate the public on the drawbacks of scaremongering. Colby DeVoe, HTS News Force.